fucking around and like trying to like actually healing.
No, she got stabbed with Hawk.
The stab wound still has not healed.
This is the first time you're doing like first aid.
Yeah. It's like, well, this is odd.
I think last time
Feel
first aid was done on Aang, like actual
was
first
Willow.
aid. It was Willow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Paige just starts up and is like, I don't like that. And then continues about her day.
I feel like for her, it's more so like okay, well, how do I go about this? She's much more of a like, okay, well, that's a thing. How do I work around this? You know what? I'm gonna need more bandages.
You're gonna like plaster like the paper mache the side? Because that would be pretty funny.
Yeah. I feel like that's what she does. It's like, okay, we're just going to sacrifice these handkerchiefs and bandages to like shore up this side because it's not healing. Paper mache this shit.
If anyone else wants to try a medicine check or to refocus or to spend another 10 minutes doing something, you are more than welcome to do that while Paige is doing medicine. So we can have like concurrent stuff going on.
Yeah. Is it still the 2d8 or is it a 1d8?
2d8. If you fail, nothing happens.
Look it up.
Yeah, if you fail, you just waste 10 minutes, and so you get to spend it. You just do the check again.
Oh, okay, so I gotta roll again.
Yeah. You can do it until you succeed, and then after you succeed, you have to wait an hour.
You know what? Paper mache handkerchiefs fucking work.
She attempts it. She attempts it. It takes a little bit of time, but she gets there.
Gets there.
More exactly!
Here you go.
Look at that. Perfect. Thank you very much.
And I think all that's half an hour now. So it was Pierre and then 2 attempts on Aang. That's 30 minutes. Willow and Hylas are fine. Then I guess Paige on herself now.
Yes, and the DC is slightly higher. It is a DC 18 to heal yourself. I don't know if it's actually 18. I'm going off the cuff. I just know that it is slightly higher.
Can I get assistance, please?
Willow will help.
Thank you, Willow. So that's gonna add a what?
Usually a 2.
It's either a 1 or a 2. Willow, what is your bonus to medicine?
High.
Because you could just attempt medicine on her for her.
Not as high, but it's a +3.
+3.
Same.
Okay, I'll say if you want to help, you can roll me a medicine check, Willow, to help Paige, but the DC will be like 8.
I know you want me to roll in this, but I am in the middle of trying to like very quickly throw things on my sheet that did not transfer over. So I'm just gonna have my d20 here. Let's see here. +3. That is a 12.
Okay, so you can have a +1, Paige.
Yeah.
It's difficult. It's difficult to operate on yourself because it's in the same way that like stitching a wound closed is easier when you are stitching someone else. You have to poke yourself with a needle, and that is hard. But you can try again, and you can maintain the +1.
The unsmallening hurts.
Statistically, nothing changed. Don't worry.
Hey.
There you go.
23. There we go.
Is an easy success. Go ahead and roll your 2d8. For 8.
8. Okay, cool. That's 50 minutes now. And you know what? Fuck it. Again. Because she hasn't taken any physical damage. It's all been fucking psychic.
Well,
she's gonna take a nap.
You already healed yourself, so you can't heal yourself again for an
Another
hour.
hour, yeah. Is there enough time to do that in a long rest? Because it's been 50 minutes so far.
No, it's been 0 minutes since you succeeded. That's what I mean. Like it took you 50 minutes to heal everyone, ending on yourself.
Yeah. So I'm asking, in the long rest, it's after an hour. Unless you want me to wait like
until the
I
morning.
would say you can have one more attempt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I thought you meant like, is there enough time left in the day? That's what you meant.
No. Because I know there's like a 2-hour time block. And I know it's 50 minutes, an hour after. There's like 10 minutes left at the tail end of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can go ahead and make 1 or 2 more checks. I think that's fair.
Okay. I keep on hitting the wrong fucking thing. Okay.
Do you want me to make a check for you? Like click the generate thing?
No, it's okay. I figured I just keep on wanting to hit the trained button because it's blue, but I have to like go over to the left and hit the die.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
There you go. That's another 2d8. Easy.
Oh, there's a lot of 22 into 4 going on here.
I am at just below full.
Nice.
Okay, you know what? I imagine she did a good nap time. She swaddled in the biggest blanket she could find.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine she's got a fucking killer fucking migraine. Nap time helped.
Nice. And I think we were ending on there was a conversation that had to happen between Maddie and someone, but we'll put a pin in that one, obviously. Was there another conversation? I think Hylas and Paige, or did that already happen?
That
already
happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then if there's no objections, we can move to morning of the following day.
Yes.
Which I need where's my little calendar?
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh. Aw.
It's Valentine's Day.
Is that a thing?
In the real world?
In the game.
It's an alt history
Okay.
of our timeline, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Listen,
Valentine's Day
there's a bunch of shit that's changed.
Yeah, that's true. But like all of the old stuff, everything that's like circa 1840 is canon.
Cool.
But yeah, you guys wake up, happy Valentine's Day, and you begin your morning preparations, which take some amount of time, but not too long. What do you do?
I imagine that Aang will wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day. Individually. Just go from one to the other.
Aw.
Willow, no fucking clue. I don't Valentine's Day.
Oh, he probably gets very sad.
Oh no.
Yeah, because your man's is back in Termarked.
Mm-hmm. Aw.
Hylas probably takes a moment before, I don't know, doing a small finger gun and just saying, right back at ya.
That suffices. She's happy with that. Aang will offer comfort and sympathy to Paige. She too is away from her person on Valentine's Day.
I imagine both of them are both like, oof. Happy Valentine's Day. Hug.
Hug. They gain 1 friendship point.
Mutual suffering.
Yes.
Oh no. Do you think Valentine's Day has any bit of like a different context because of that really famous Valentine in this world? Do you think there's like a misconception about the holiday?
Electra, come back. We have questions.
That is a good question. We'll never know.
Yeah.
All right. In terms of exploring, what would people like to do here?
I think
think-
the plan was to go downstairs.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Go down these stairs. Eden will volunteer to keep watch from the front doors here, so as to keep your flank secure.
No, that's
That way
useful.
nothing will come up behind you and surprise you.
All right.
We
Awesome.
come back upstairs
Thank you, Eden.
instead.
Should we
And if it does, Eden can just scream really loud,
really, really loud?
Mm-hmm.
and
All right,
hopefully
so-
we'll hear it.
Shall
Yep.
we go downstairs?
Mhm.
All right.
If
I
you
feel
want
like
to highlight your token and then left click on the stair icon here.
I have done this.
I am so scared.
I feel like Maddie would probably go.
Yeah, Maddie was
First-
like
Maddie,
Maddie would go
really
first.
wanting to go down here.
yes.
I accidentally.
Here, wait. We are
Ah.
gonna
What
we're gonna do a
What out?
little.
Let out! Let me out!
Oh, I see what happened.
Let me
Okay.
out!
We all stacked up.
There's
Okay.
a wall. There's a wall right there, so you have to go around.
Oh, okay. I was like, why can't I move?
Let me out! I went back upstairs.
Why am I black and white?
It's dark
The
vision, I
reason-
think.
Okay.
Yes, the reason you are black and white is because of dark vision.
Oh, I don't like
Maddie.
that.
Let me out! Egg,
I'm
move!
claustrophobic. Paige just
I will say, if there's a way of like helping out Paige here. Like if it's going down and it's dark, Willow will again provide a light source via a gun.
Okay. So Willow, if you click on your token and right click, there's a little. I think you already clicked it.
Little fire thing?
Yeah, the torch icon.
Oh.
That turns on a torch.
Oh, okay. I completely forgot that Willow had a torch flamethrower gun, and I was so confused. How is she going to provide a light source via a gun?
You know
She-
what I just learned this morning that's kind of interesting. By the way, it doesn't apply to this Pathfinder, but so I'll keep it quick. But briefly speaking, Mez can stop her own bleeding by shooting a shot and using her gun barrel
Huh?
That's
That's
burn the
brutal.
wound closed.
sick.
Yeah,
That's
it's
hardcore
really
as
cool.
fuck.
Anyway,
Yes. Yeah, I will say, like, as you venture downstairs, it is pitch black. There is no light. The air is musty and dank. There is the air smells and feels old. It has a little bit of a moisture texture to it, like something that fungus would thrive in. Dark and wet.
Gross.
Gross indeed.
I should Maddie just do the barbarian thing and open a door heedless of any danger?
I will defer to the judgment of the group. Does anyone think that Maddie should just wantonly open door, or do you think
No.
okay? That's only
Absolutely
I want to be both faithful to the character, but also not problematic to the party.
Probably tries to, and we have to be like, Maddie, no.
Yeah, that makes sense. She tries to, and then somebody else stops her.
Maddie, wait.
I will say, as you are walking down here and like there's no light, Maddie seems to be able to navigate semi-well. Her eyes can adjust to the dark very, very keenly. So she just walks over to a door and she just goes, "What? What's the big deal?" She turns around.
If you recall, Willow and Lorelai were inspecting doors first before Maddie was being allowed to kick them in.
So
that is what they will
go
be
over.
doing. Sorry, I'm still fucking. So, you guys understand my like panic, like split focus right now? I rebuilt Willow, and none of the spells came over, and none of my crafting stuff came over.
Oh no.
So I'm having to
Oh.
very quickly put in 3 sets of spells, a whole bunch of potions, a whole bunch of poisons, and a whole bunch of alchemical shit. So I apologize. My brain's running faster than it's being able to properly go right now.
Would it help if
good.
I generated a check for you so that you just had to click the roll?
Yes, that would probably be good.
Okay. Now, in both the moment of fairness and also unfairness, I have let you roll crafting for detecting traps, but I am herefore going to rescind that and go back to doing normal perception. But I will let you use crafting to disable traps instead of thievery. Let me generate you a little check here. So you want...
Oh, she has thievery to disable them?
Yeah. Which does technically mean Aang is really good at that.
Yo, high five, same.
So I'm just going to go for traps. I think if I click that, it should generate a prompt. No, it didn't. It didn't like that, huh? There we go. That's what you want. I'm just going to keep this pinned.
Yep.
22. Yeah. So are you checking this door right here to your right?
I think so, if that's the way like the party seems to be inclined to move.
That was the door handle that Maddie grabbed, and I moved Maddie so that she was out of the way. I'll move her back here. She's kind of... Willow, you, with the 22 on your perception, you can tell for sure this door is 1, unlocked, 2, untrapped, and 3, you hear buzzing on the other side of it.
Like that's not great.
Hello. It's like inspects the door, sit up, looks it down again, and you see her lean forward and put her ear against the door and frown. And then slowly stand up straight again. And will put a cloth over her lower part of her face for a mask. And like I imagine she can like has like a hood tucked under her coat and just like pulls it up and pulls it really tight and secure. I think that is going to be some insects on the other side.
Maddie shrugs and holds up the hammer. Can I swat him?
How often has just swatting gnats with a hammer been useful?
What if they're big?
Page fucking off.
Goodbye.
That is very in character. Joe, I would like to award you 1 hero point.
I think that is very fair. Paige, you can have a hero point for being afraid of bug.
Thank you.
Well, it just blinks and will swap places with Maddie. And Paige, apparently.
Paige gets immediate, no fucking hesitation, really. There's fucking bugs. No.
Maddie takes a step forward.
Will very awkwardly maneuver his way through the hallway.
Cool.
So we're all
if we're about to implement swarm rules, I'm so fucked.
Maddie walks up to the door and she leans real close down to it, and like she gets ready to grab it and open it, and then you see Aang. You can see her nose twitch, like she smells something. And it twitches again, and then she just goes, "Oh, it smells so bad. Oh!" And she puts her hammer down and like covers her nose. Like blows, like wipes, or not wipes, waves her hands in front of her face. Like, you know, when you do when you're kind of like frantic and you're just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. It smells real bad. She's like waving her hands at her nose and her eyes are watering. It smells so bad.
Aang initiates fuss, stepmom fuss. She's going to try and find something to cover Maddie's face with. I imagine she probably does have a fucking handkerchief. She seems the type.
Mm-hmm.
Paige handed out handkerchiefs.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right, right. Yeah. So we'll tie that back onto Maddie. See if that helps.
Handkerchief around her nose.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that works. I think that's
Bandito
fair.
her up.
Maddie looked like with the little mask over her face, looks back, and you can see beneath the mask her nose wiggle, and she gives you a thumbs up. And she turns to the door. All in favor of her bashing the door in?
Aye.
Go ahead.
Bashing the door in?
3, 2,
That's
1.
what she would do.
Expect her to open the door like a normal person?
She's never opened the door normally.
She is going to heel kick the door by the knob and kick the door in. And immediately, you are all assaulted by the most rank-ass, disgusting smell. It smells like death and rot and feces all blended together and left out on the floor on a sunny day. It is a nightmare smell. And in and amongst the flickering firelight, you can see shapes moving. They're about the size of like slightly bigger than a lapdog. But no, you know what? They're like tall possums. That is their size.
Huh.
They're tall possum-sized things. These like bug creatures. Let me bring up their little picture here and share it. They look like that.
Paige was right to just immediately nope out.
Hunched over skeletal claws with like gross chittering like squirrel bone heads and dragonfly wings, and they're hunched over in the filth of the room. And they immediately turn and start to buzz. You're not allowed to love them, Charlie.
Okay, but I didn't design to.
Them. You can like the design. You know what? That's fair.
I think it's really, really cool.
We're gonna jump right into initiative.
I'm obsessed with it, honestly.
Can I just say, I love when you're trying to describe the size of these things that you picked an example of something that like we can imagine the size of, a small dog, and then moved on to something that we had to mentally adjust the size for, a tall possum.
Look, it's fine. Paige. If you click the double swords.
Yes.
There you go. Nice. We're going to begin. Okay, at the top of the round, it is one of these creatures going first. It is going to hiss, and it is going to spit at Maddie.
Right.
It has a horrifically gross ranged attack.
Oh boy.
It misses. It rears back and like it tilts its head back, and just a wad of brown and green mush shoots out like a pressurized glob. Just splats against the wall, and Maddie you can see her hovering her hand or covering her mouth over top of the napkin. Like the napkin the hanky is not powerful enough to withstand the sheer disgusting smell. And then it's going to skitter over here, and it's going to hide. Dee Dee is going to go. And Dee Dee smells this rank garbage and covers her mouth and nose with both hands, but is going to step forward. And this isn't going to take an action, but she is going to look at you, Willow. Willow, in as few words as possible, how would you want to convey to Dee Dee what to do?
So she's asking for permission, essentially, here?
More or less, yes. Direction/permission.
Willow just kind of like looks at her, then motions down the hallway. And feel like Willow's not having to cover her mouth and nose and shit because mask. She put that on before the door was open. It's like, well, if you want to kill something, I suppose you can go ahead.
Dee Dee, you can see this, like, her mouth is covered, mouth and nose, but her eyes get kind of soft for a second, and she smiles. And she is going to awkwardly scoot past everyone, shuffling through here. She is just fast enough to make it out and step to the side. She's going to jump out this way, and she is going to attack one of these creatures. That is 1 move, 2 move for a claw. That is an extraordinarily lucky roll. It isn't a crit. It is very close. No, wait, no, it is a crit. It is a crit. I was looking at its health. It's probably going to die. We're going to see. You see Dee Dee like dart in and around and dash behind the corner, and you hear what sounds like a rotisserie chicken getting yanked apart.
I hope she's not going to eat these.
Certainly not. Probably. Who's to say? But that's going to be Dee Dee's turn. It's going to be another little blight creature's turn. It's going to spit at Dee Dee. It's going to go back. That's going to miss. It's going to try again. That's also going to... No, that'll hit. It's not going to deal a hell of a lot of damage, but... Wait, hold on. Come on. 1, 6, and 2. Dee Dee gets planked for a little bit of damage. And then it is going to use its wings to beat this, like, the buzzing sound gets really, really loud, and you can see its wings start to flutter. It's going to make itself airborne, which kicks up a just gross cloud of spores. Not spores, but like just a cloud of gross. Lorelei is going to aid Willow and Hylas and Aang. Because Lorelei is not a combatant.
High five.
So what
I know
does
where the
this
roll
aid
is.
do?
Aid, she is going to roll, and if she succeeds her roll, she will give you a +1. If she critically succeeds, she will give you a +2. And she will also teach you some information about the creature if she is able to positively identify it.
Oh, nice.
First roll. That is 6 for a 24. Absolutely a crit. So she is going to point in that direction. And at first you hear like muffles, and then because she's covering her mouth and nose, then she pulls her hand down and just goes, "They're called blightmouth. They're nasty little disease-ridden vermin." And she will give a +2 to, in order, Hylas, and then roll one more time. A +2 to you, Willow, and a +1 to you, Ang.
I'll take it.
But she points out they're called blight motes. They are a gross pest-like creature. She'll also say, just fucking smoosh them. They are weak to bludgeoning.
Smush bug.
Silas, it is your turn.
I think in response to hearing this information, he sort of adjusts his hat and goes, "Oh, well, not like I can really do that from this distance," but and he readies his gun. Am I able to for this one up here? Do I need to adjust?
I will say, because you can see it,
It's in my field of vision.
I will say that you can shoot at it, but it's going to have cover unless you get up to where Maddie is, which I will let you share a space with Madigan.
Okay. I feel like the height difference allows for that.
God, he's fucking giant. Try this duck through the doorways.
There you go. Now you can shoot either of the two of them.
I'll go for this one up here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. It's been a while.
Been a while.
Here we go.
Since I first saw you.
Ooh, that is going to be a miss. You could hero point it if you want.
Does the +2 get added to
It gets added to your it gets added to your attack roll.
Okay.
Which would make it a 13, which you're really likely to hit. It's just a matter of getting a slightly better roll than a 3.
Okay, I think I do want to hero point this.
Go for it. There you go.
There we go.
And
26.
with a 26 doesn't crit by 1. I'm sorry. But you will hit it.
That's okay. All right. Let's see what we do for damage.
3. But they do have weakness to bludgeoning, and because your gun is concussive, it will deal bludgeoning damage, so that will deal 5 damage to this creature. Or 5 additional damage. Sorry. It will deal 8 damage in total.
And these do not count towards the boastful hunter, right?
No, they're too small.
Okay.
This is not a beast.
Well, it's what we have.
So, 2 questions really fast as I am continuing to add shit to my sheet.
Mm-hmm.
1, Hylas, do you actually use ammo?
Mundane ammo, I don't really care to track. Special ammo, I will track.
But the gun is using actual ammo that could be created, yes?
Yeah.
Would you allow Willow to create special ammo since we have a gunslinger now?
Yeah, you would need a forge to create it, but you can definitely spice up some ammo.
Ooh.
If you're in a city, you can get access to a forge of some kind.
Continue.
All right, Hylas, you moved, you shoot.
Let's see. I think Is Aang going to be able to move through this spot if
Well,
both
Maddie
Hylas
goes
and Maddie are here?
first.
Oh,
So
okay. All right, cool.
if Maddie goes first and vacates, then I hope I can pass through you.
Mm-hmm.
Aang has absurd move speed, so if
Yeah.
anybody is paying a movement tax, it's her.
And can lap the dungeon.
Yes.
Huh.
Nice.
Yes. So, you don't have to worry about moving again if you don't want to.
Do you think covered reload would work here?
You could get cover from the ranged attacks, but if they get in close, the cover wouldn't really do anything.
Okay.
But yeah, you can like press yourself to the side of the walls.
Okay, I'll just do that then. Little covered reload.
Okay. So
That is an action, right?
Yes, it is one
Okay.
action.
Cool.
And
That's
it
me
will
then.
be Maddie's turn. Maddie is going to rage. Is it rage?
She's gonna flank something, right?
Yes, she's going to rage. And she is going to move in here and get behind this one that's flying. And then she is going to try and swing on this buzzard with the hammer.
Based Maddie.
Mm-hmm.
Big swing. That is an easy hit. That's going to be, and it's bludgeoning for easy clap. Maddie stands behind this one and baseball bat swings and just fucking beans it. The thing is completely pasted on the end of her hammer, and the wings are left kind of spinning in the air, spiral and fall to the ground. And this thing is completely dusted. She did 15 damage.
Jeez.
Nice.
Goddamn.
No. We're not doing all this automation dying shit. No, it's dead. It's gone.
All right.
1, 2, 3. That is the end of her turn. Aang?
All right. I'm assuming I can move over here.
Yes, you can move through there.
All right. That's 20, which is half my move speed, so I don't provoke. If I did. All right. So this one's wounded, right, and this one's still healthy. Do I attack the wounded one or do I attack the healthy one? I might as well attack the wounded one. I'm going to be doing reduced damage anyway. So, hitting it with the regular attack here. I forget how to... Hopefully that's targeting? I don't fucking know. Oh,
if it's not targeting, that's fine.
There we go. Alright. Strike.
Nice. That is an easy hit. Not a crit, still.
And roll. 14.
Easy. 14 damage. You mince this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just one clean swipe straight through the middle and part it perfectly.
All right. And then let me see. I still have one action left. I will probably be heading over to this area over here, but I just want to double check if I can do that in stealth or not.
You could try to hide once you, I don't know if you actually could, because you'd have to move over there and then hide as an action.
Yeah, let me just...
You can't hide when it's directly in your line of sight.
Let's see. Yeah, that's that. That's deny advantage. Okay.
Throw your sight.
The stalker. I could jump. Got virtuosic performer keyboards. I've got that going for me. Yeah, I will just move over here with the rest of that then. And then move here. There we go. And that's it for me.
Okay. Paige, it is your turn.
Yeah, fuck that. Fuck all of that.
You
Paige
hear
is going-
horrific bug slaughter.
No. Good luck with that, guys. Paige is cheering you on. She's not stepping foot in that fucking room. But you know
Valid.
what? Here's a +1. Inspire courage for everyone.
We'll take it.
You know what? You love it. Inspire courage.
A classic.
And you know what? That's one action. Other 2 actions. Can I do uplifting overture twice if it's on different people?
I don't know. What does it say?
Essentially, it's the 8 action, but I can use performance instead.
I will say that you can, since
Cool.
it's uses an action and not a reaction.
Yep. Well, hold on, wait. It says an action, but it talks about here. Let me just put this in the chat.
When you later use the aid reaction.
Oh, so you have to, that's
Yeah.
one action, and then you have to aid as a separate action, I think.
Gotcha.
I will let you do that in this particular instant.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Since you are afraid of bug.
I don't want to go in there. I just want to here's a +1, and for 2 people, here's another +1.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever the aid is. Okay. So everyone gets a +1 because it's 60-foot emanation. And who's up next? You know what? She can see Willow and she can kind of see Pierre.
Gotcha. Roll performance twice.
Sure. Where the fuck? There it is.
$18. That's good enough for a +1.
That first one. Oh, I'm so sorry, Pierre.
That's okay. But that's good. Willow, you have a +3 to any attacks or checks that you want to try.
I imagine what Paige did is that it smells fucking bad. Paige doesn't fucking like this. You know what? Air freshener. It smells nicer over here in this area, emanating from Paige. She pulled out some perfume.
That does give me a question, though. Are we able to discern if the smell is coming from the bugs themselves, or is there something smelly in the room that the bugs are fawning or gathering towards?
I will say you could probably tell that it's from the creatures. The creatures are like foul vermin, like filth-ridden monsters that are very stinky.
Mm-hmm.
They probably have something stinky on them that they carried around. There might be something in the room that they broke or defiled that is smelly too, but it's primarily the creatures.
Well, let's just
Okay.
go step forward, kind of
Mhm.
poke her head around the door, and she's not even gonna try and get past Hylas. She's just gonna stick her arm and aim at this thing, and just be very calm. Hey, if you're over there in the corner, do you take a step back?
Aang will prep. Yeah, she will respond in the affirmative.
Flamethrower in the corner.
Thankfully, she is not that kind of vampire.
Oh, +3.
That will hit.
Fire.
Six and 7.
And then another
Or
+1 from Paige.
6 and then the splash for 7 damage. Yeah, you burn this thing right good. You hear like the sizzle, pop, crackle, scree of burned, sizzling, horrible creature.
She can do.
Was that like move up, shoot, and move back?
No, because she doesn't really know what's going on in the room, so she needs to stay here to see what's happening.
How did you shoot the creature then? Because I assumed that you would have to you'd have to be here because it's like in a corner here.
I said she stuck her arm through the door. I can see right here.
Okay.
If not, then she'll just stay here. Good.
That's fine. It's just a matter of making the action economy out, but that'll work. And then it's going to be Pierre's turn.
I don't think Pierre wants any of this either.
He's going to run up and then look and check on Paige, and he's like, "Are you all right?"
Yes, I just don't like the bugs. Just a second die.
Like hand to forehead, and just goes, "Oh right, this bug thing," and he will squeeze past. Excuse me, and he is going to see this creature. Let's see.
He's got
That's
a
going to be
+1.
got a +1 to attack and damage, which is good for him.
Kill the
He's
bug.
going to try to hit it with the Bowie knife that he has. That is a hit. And Pierre kill it. With a +1, he can.
Let's fucking go. Kill the
Good.
bug.
Takes a step in, and he plunges his. It is actually like a long knife, I think. And he will sink the long knife into it, and you hear like the horrified like gurgle and squelch and die of creature.
Gross.
And then he takes a step back, and he is revolted. There's like grime on the edge of his knife. Their blood is not red; it is black, with like an oily kind of texture to it.
Oh shit! Phyrexian oil?
Yo?
No, you fucking better not hope. But he looks at it and just goes, "Oh god!" And he's going to stumble backwards through here and just cover his mouth and nose. But that will end the combat. The little one. I will.
Before he moves back, Hylas gives him a little nudge on the shoulder and goes, "Oh, you did it, partner." Poor guy.
I think Aang will warmly suggest to Maddie that she doesn't need to be in the stink room if she doesn't want to be in the stink room anymore.
She keeps her hand over her mouth and will exit the smelly room.
And Aang will assist in searching.
Yeah, so in this room, there are bottles and baubles and all manner of chemicals and liquids that, well, some of them were in bottles, but a bunch of them are now spilled onto the ground. You can see that there are strange funguses and plants growing in some of the spilled remnants of whatever fluids were inside these things. The creatures were not, I don't know a better word to describe it, but basically ransacking this place for food or for sustenance of some kind. Though this very distinctly does not have the impression of any sort of larder. Willow, you know a lab when you see one, and this is some kind of chemical lab.
Kind of looks around for a second, realizes what she is seeing, and assuming all these different benches in the corners are like different workbenches.
And shelves. It's like a giant alchemist pantry.
Ah. She's gonna go through very carefully. She's gonna work her way around the entire fucking room.
Mm-hmm.
And just if there's anything that she can find labeled or have a good guess on what it is, she's not going to touch the things that she doesn't know what they are, because she's smart enough to know that in alchemist's lab, things that are unlabeled are things that are very dangerous.
As you're circling around, that smell, that stink, is still present. Dee Dee is scooping up the corpses of these creatures, one hand over her mouth and nose, the other hand grabbing the bits and pieces of them, and she is going to lovingly and caringly remove the stanky bodies. As she is doing that, you can see that some of these creatures had knocked over containers, some like Erlenmeyer flasks, some vials, some different kind of like things that would be set up on a Bunsen burner, like all of these different liquid containers and element containers. There's a few that are left that you can see. There's a vial, or not a vial, excuse me. There is like it's not a jar. What is the beaker? It's a beaker. There is a beaker that has a cork seal on top of it, like popped in top onto the top, and it is very clearly labeled. Does Willow read any other languages?
Several, yes.
Does
French,
she
German,
read
Latin, Spanish, Chinese.
Okay. So with your German, you can read that this beaker is labeled magnesium, like magnesium powder.
Oh.
There are a bunch of other beakers that all have different labels, some of them smashed and some of them not. But the magnesium is easily the most salvageable of them all.
You'll notice that, pick it up, and kind of tuck it under an arm as she is moving around. Picking up a couple of other things that might be of vague interest and use. She's reading this place.
And will
Strange.
dutifully stand by.
It's strange because as you are going through this, Willow, like you're looking at all of the different things that are propped up here, and there are normal elements, things that you can like comprehend and understand, and then there are vials and bottles and things that are broken or empty or discarded that read in the labels are on them, but you don't know what they mean. Like you see one that is labeled Stardust. You see another one that is labeled Pickled Eye, like EYE. Just intermixed with all of these other just things that you do have like a grounded understanding of.
She just kind of starts, as she's seeing more and more stuff, just tilt her head and kind of muse out loud. Oh, this is all so odd. Some of it is very certainly standard sciences. It's been written about forever, but some of this is bordering on fantastical.
Is she saying that just aloud or
Yes.
to Aang? Okay. Aang will tilt her head. Fantastical.
She nods. Things you might hear. Old stories. Some green-skinned witch dumping into a giant cauldron of some sort. picks up something like fucking like I am Newt shit. Shakes it a little bit.
Lorelai holds up a jar that is broken and empty, but she just goes, giant keratin. Like a toenail.
A bug.
What was that word? Giant parrot? Giant ferret?
Keratin.
Keratin.
Oh. Giant keratin. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay.
Giant carrot.
I imagine Aang sees one that's like labeled I am Newt or some shit that like Willow's waving around, right? And then she looks at the one of the more scientifically labeled ones. She points to the one that has the Eye of Newt or whatever on it. That one, I understand. The other beguileth me.
There's kind of a little smile from Willow. She's head goes side to side a little bit. I suppose that just goes to prove the point of being quite human and me being very human. This lifts up magnesium jar.
Mhm.
Is human science. This is something I understand very well. This shakes bottle of Eye of Newt again. I only guess at. Now, I've been very good at guessing some of these things, but still, a guess is a guess.
What use doth magnesium serve?
She kind of like eyes it for a second. Yeah, there's a whole host of uses for it. Some of it being health-wise, the element that is common in the world and body as well. Well, at least sometimes.
Lorelai, you can hear as she is going through her own little shelf that she has claimed, and it just goes, and sometimes it explodes.
And Willow nods and kind of head goes in that direction. And as I'm sure you be aware, I do enjoy explosions.
It's a small smile from Aang, and she nods. And I imagine she sees Paige approaching, right?
Probably, but Sage is not stepping foot into this fucking room. What if there are more bugs?
She looks over to Paige and calls, Paige, art thou familiar with magnesium?
Paige looks at Aang, and there's a blink. Who is that?
Apparently, it can forge explosions.
Another blink.
Don't you have something in your show on occasion that just goes poof?
Yes, but it's not. It's just something that does the thing. It's.
Well, one of the elements within it is likely magnesium.
Oh. So. It is like the science things?
Willow nods.
Paige, understanding. Her first thought was, who the fuck's magnesium?
Can Willow, with the shit that's here, mix? I don't know if this is actually something that can happen. You put it this way. I very nearly failed my chemistry class. Okay, that's where I'm standing with this. Can she mix some things that she sees here into like a little tiny pouch of like from like Batman Begins movie. Just like throw it on the ground and poof, smoke.
One of them little poppers you buy at the dollar store?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I will say, like with some of the stuff you undoubtedly have on your person, and like a little bit of magnesium powder. Yeah, you can make a little smoke pop it.
Yeah, get some potassium in there.
Mm-hmm.
She whips that up fairly quickly and then walks over and hands it to Paige. Why don't you give that a little bit of a throw on the ground? Good little bit of force. Make sure it does what it needs to.
Paige, all of her fucking strength. Yeet to the ground.
Pop of smoke. And then a crack.
Aang claps.
There's just starry-eyed. What? You mean the sciences could be not cool?
I'm sorry, I will need a translation for that.
You mean that sciences could be cool?
There's
Annie,
a
are you
moment.
dealing psychic damage to yourself?
There's a moment where you see like Willow kind of blink, and I know Lorelai would understand. I don't know if Aang would fully understand. But there's just this like very clear moment of like, do I want to be amused or do I want to be a little offended here?
There is genuine excitement.
Aang is not great at reading facial expressions, so I'm just gonna rule that she's vibing because Paige seems happy and because she's learned a new thing.
And Willow just kind of like, after a moment, decides to let the amusement ride here and just kind of waves her hand. I suppose next time we have a little bit of extra time and we aren't doing anything in particular, I'll show you how to make some of those.
That would be so cool. We could do the things, and I could have some, and I could just throw them when I don't like someone.
I suppose that would be a way to make them at least confused. It's not going to do a whole lot to them. It's really just noise and smoke, but I suppose a loud noise by somebody's feet is always going to be a little bit disturbing.
Nod. Paige has new appreciation for science.
Aang will smirk and she looks to Willow and she leans forward as if she's going to say something mildly scandalous. And she says, "Or hooves."
Willow nods a little bit. So suppose if you didn't quite know what was going on, you would be rather less than thrilled as well.
She nods and seems content to have made what she considers to be a joke.
Yeah.
She's learning.
Is there anything written down, like any note around here?
There is one thing. Lorelai spots it on the table near this vat of something. A vat of, it's a glass chamber or like a cylinder. Like you turned like a glass vial upside down, so the rounded portion was facing upright and the flat lidded portion was downwards. It sits on top of a table and it's quite big. It is almost aquarium sized, like a personal little aquarium. And inside it, there's like a sediment that has built up at the bottom, but there's no object. There's no floating brain in a jar, but the glass is sealed and there's no clear way to get at it. You could probably pull it out and drain it that way. But in general, it's just kind of stagnantly sitting there. But on the table before it, there's a few notebooks, but the notebooks have had pages hastily torn out and you can see that the notes written there have been kind of done away with. But there is part of one page still there that has writing on it. And it says, Conrad has been experimenting with some of the stranger chemicals again. Conrad spelled Konrad.
Investigate this vat of shit a little closer.
You can. Getting up close to it, you're smart enough to know that this is some kind of chamber that's used to cultivate something. This is either some kind of like fluid that's meant to contain something to keep it sustained. Whether it's alive or not is up in the air. But there's a sediment that's built up at the bottom, possibly from some sort of chemical substance they had in the water that has since separated out from time. Yes. You can see like getting up close to it and kind of poking your nose into the little recessed wall that it's set in. You could pull it out and get to get it on its side and try to drain it if you wanted to get a sample of it. It's about the size of like a water cooler jug.
But she could.
Like an
she has to
office
like
water
actually
cooler.
like spill it to be able to get a sample.
Yeah, you have to, because it's clearly meant to not be like sampled. This is clearly meant to contain something. And there's nothing in it now. Either because it possibly never was put in there, or maybe because it dissolved. And it was the sediment at the bottom.
Is there a siphon in the room?
What you can see is there is a drain on the floor. Not actually pictured on the map, but there is a drain in the middle of the floor for spills. But this thing has a sort of like a wooden and metal, like, you know, on some mason jars how it will have like a metal latch seal to pull it down. It's like those are built onto the wooden and rubber lid structure that it's seated on. So like kind of like
I think I get what you mean.
Like that. And then it's cinched.
Is the thing to spill or drain anything at the moment? She's still kind of sus of everything.
Judging from what you've seen growing from some of the spilled chemicals that were already in this place, that's a safe bet.
Yep. Yeah, there's some weird shit that has happened here. She doesn't want to. She will take things that she thinks is not going to cause problems, but she's not looking to cause any problems, at least not yet.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
So we can see into this container, right?
Yeah.
Like we can see that there's like liquid, and we can see the sediment.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe the sediment?
It looks like so the liquid itself is like a blue color. It looks like ocean water. It has a very obvious blue tint, like a cyan blue tint. The sediment looks like a grayish kind of slurry, somewhere between slime and dust. It's not moving, but if you wiggle the table or kind of jostle the glass container, it moves in that kind of syrupy way.
Oh, okay. And a follow-up question: were the corpses of the bugs or the creatures like removed?
Yes. Yeah.
How is the
You pick them
room
up and move them.
nice? How is the room smelling now?
Bearable. It still smells gross because those bug creatures, they are called blight motes. The blight motes, they started futzing around with some of the vials and bottles and containers and spilled things. Some of the things in here have been spilled for a while. Don't get me wrong, but they have spilled some new things and started making puddles of whatever they had on their body already because they're little like refuse goblins. They intermixed with some of the things that they spilled. So the smell is not pleasant, but it is a world of difference. You can bear the smell of like sour sock on a wet floor.
Mhm. Is there a particular smell coming from this
Container?
container? Yeah.
No,
Oh.
not that you can tell. It is hard because everything is kind of mixed in with the low background noise of stink.
Yeah.
But the glass container seems to be without any sort of obvious odor to it.
Okay.
Maddie, in like the back here, is thinking to herself, and Paige, you can see that she's trying to rack her brain because she remembers these creatures, but can't quite remember all the information about them. And she's like, no, I think they lay their eggs in corpses, and then when they hatch, they're like mosquitoes, but they eat each other until they're big enough to get stronger. They're a fucked up menace. They're real gross. They smell like shit.
Close. Oh.
Wait. They lay their eggs in corpses?
Yeah, why?
Hylas sort of looks around the room and
Roll me a
yeah.
perception check.
You can see the beginnings of a mathematic equation happening.
Mm-hmm.
Where is perception? Oh my gosh. There you are.
It's on the left. Yeah.
14. Perfectly passive. With a 14, you don't see any corpses in here, that's for damn sure. So if they are born from corpses, there must be corpses somewhere nearby that they came from.
His big eyes sort of just scan the room, and he strokes his chin and he goes, so that must mean there's some corpses nearby.
Well, at the very least, were.
Willow, go ahead and make me a perception check, and you will get a +2 from Lorelei, also perusing this lab. You look around, and with the help of Lorelei, you've cleared out the shelves to get most of anything that's useful. You could imagine that if there is a corpse, it probably is. It would have to be nearby enough that these creatures were willing to crawl in this direction to get something. But you're not sure where a corpse would be. You haven't even seen any sign of corpses aside from the existence of these creatures.
And the only openings to this room are the door and then the drain, right?
There's
As
another
you
room down the hall, isn't there?
I'm talking
There
about
is a
this
room
room
down
that
the
we're in
hall.
specifically because this door was closed.
This door was closed. So if you, Willow, you can trace that, like, the trail of some of these critters as they went along the shelf and like knocked bottles over and smashed things and scurried around. They have a general like layer of filth on them, so they leave marks where they go. And if you trace that little trail, it originates in like part of the wall down here.
It's like they came through like a hole in the wall or something, crack in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's a mouse-sized crack in the wall where their little slime trail exits out of.
Walk over and kind of lean closer and then poke like a stick inside. Ew, I think they came from here. Not sure what would be on the other side.
You poke a little like probe through that mouse hole. And you kind of spin it and twirl it around. It seems pretty hollow on the other side. Like way more roomy than you would expect.
Willow got an idea, and Willow's going to do a stupid thing. She's going to step aside. Madigan.
Maddie pokes her head up. What?
I'd like you to break down a wall, please.
Maddie, incredulous, raises an eyebrow. Or is this a test?
No. Thought you liked smashing things.
Oh, I do. Holds up her hammer.
Wait, what? What there's bugs on the inside?
I didn't hear any buzzing.
And you know,
What
if there are, Hylas adjusts his gun.
Okay, you promise to shoot them?
Oh, I shot the last. Well, one of the last ones.
Okay, I'm going to step back. You can do whatever. I don't. It's gross.
Here, we'll stay with you.
Fucking hide behind Pierre. Fuck that shit. What the fuck? What if they're just sleeping back there? Why are you gonna wake up more?
You know, he's pretty good at stabbing them.
Yeah.
Maddie steps over here, and like this little cubby area where the like some of the shelves and tables are, it's really cramped, and so swinging a hammer is difficult. So Maddie has this moment where she's kind of like pool cue, corner pocket the wall, and shoots her hammer out that way and hits a single brick, and there is a clunk, 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 as it tumbles backwards into a room. And then Maddie like perks up and just goes, jackpot. And she sticks the hammer in there and starts knocking the hammer around like fucking crazy. And after a few seconds, she will crumble down the entire section of wall.
Oh shit.
Found your secret.
Good job, everybody.
Yeah.
Damn.
Aang will pat Maddie on head.
So I say, like, as Maddie goes by, Willow just like pats on shoulder. I never say that I don't let you actually hit things.
She just rolls her eyes, but is very much like smiling wickedly. Lorelai immediately glued to your shoulder, peering over in the secret corner. Where does it go?
Looks like stairs. Stairs, God.
These stairs that descend even further down.
Aang will look to them. Shall I scout ahead for thee?
Well, like staring down, and slowly shakes her head. Let's go look at the rest of this floor before we go wandering any further down. To make sure that there's not another infestation through another door that might come up behind us.
There's a nod.
Paige, do you want to open that door and see if there's bugs?
No?
Pierre jumps to the other side of you.
Is he going for the door?
He's guarding you from bugs on the opposite direction.
She appreciates it. She's like, what? What do you mean, Tom? I'm going to...
You hear buzzing.
I
Walk
hear...
into the room. You can all roll me perception checks if you'd like.
Oh
Willow,
boy.
as she is like stumbling over her English, Willow will just like, there's a wicked grin. She kind of leans back towards Paige. You sure they're not crawling all over you already?
Huh.
There is just a shove. Like, God, don't say that. What is he?
Wiggles fingers.
Shove from Willow. Shove from Paige to Willow. Like, could you go do your whole science thing with you lectures to us?
Paige
So
grew up in
I
a
will-
family with many siblings. She knows this game well.
True. For the purposes of this check, you can have your passive perception as your minimum instead of your low roll. So I will permit you to have your passive perception if it is better than your
Oh, thank God.
your roll.
Well, thanks.
With a 14 and a 15, and one for Maddie. Let me do a quick roll here. Holy goodness, where the frick? Passive is any ability plus 10.
Oh, okay. So 15 pass.
Yes.
Cool.
Any ability plus 10?
Yes. So if I ever ask for your like a passive thing or a DC related to a thing you have, like your performance DC, it is 10 plus whatever your bonus is.
Oh, okay. So then mine would be 14?
Yes.
Okay.
I now see the struggle of trying to roll perception.
It's all the way on the left side.
There it is.
Hmm.
Oh, Maddie got a nat 20. So with the nat 20 for Maddie,
Yo.
a 21 for Aang, and then the 14s and 15s passive. There's no buzzing. You don't hear any strange or unusual movement. Everything seems to be still and quiet. I'm counting that for this door here and for down here as well.
There's 2 doors. Okay.
There are 2 doors.
Is this paper actually here?
Yes. A paper and a bed with no mattress and no blanket, as well as a desk with a chair that's been like knocked over.
Kind of lean over Paige, gestures towards the paper. You mind handing me that?
She'll grab it. She'll look at it as if she's reading it. She's not. Hands over to Willow.
Paige touching the paper and looking at the writing, you can't read it, but this writing on this page has a very foreboding quality to it. And Willow, when you see it, you can read very plainly, do not let the atomic age in.
The atomic age?
Yes. Or sorry, not in, come.
Oh, okay.
Atomic, okay.
Okay. I was so confused.
That makes
What
more
the
sense.
fuck? Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, do not let the atomic age come.
Okay.
And it is written very aggressively in some sort of charcoal or graphite.
There's just kind of a frown and a furrow of the brows, and Willow does not read aloud or like translate or give context to anybody. She just kind of shakes her head because she's a little baffled. And is going to turn and open the store.
You open this door. This is a dark and kind of sad room. It's not a prison. The door's not locked. But inside there's what appears to be a dresser filled with sundry of pieces of cloth, a shirt, a smock. There's not really much in here, but there's a straw bed with a discarded pillow and blanket, like a spare pillow and blanket. Like there's not much to go around.
She'll go and poke around the dresser really fast.
Mm-hmm. Roll me a perception check. A 19. Willow, there's something that you've always known as a sibling. You are not the youngest sibling, but you are not the oldest sibling, which means your hiding places for secret things had to get pretty clever. And an easy hiding place was under the bed. You never put anything under the bed. That's the first place. That's the first place people check. Another thing is you never put anything underneath your pajamas. That's the second place they check. But what you had that kind of outstretched your place in the sibling hierarchy was a little bit of like devilish ingenuity. You cut a hole into your bedroom drawer so you could hide stuff in a false bottom. And when you are looking through this drawer, you press on one of the dressers and you can feel that it gives a little bit. And you find a false bottom in this dresser. Inside it, you find a little less excitedly another single piece of paper that's old and crumpled. There's a dusty outline, like there used to be a journal here. On a single piece of paper, you see written in plain English, "I'm sorry for what we've done."
Imagine as she's going through the dresser, just like, okay, there's nothing here, and then you just get the evil chuckle. And then silence as she reads. And
Willow, I'll tell you this really quick. You are savvy enough to know that whomever has come through and destroyed the laboratory and the observatory upstairs and has taken and like defaced a library shelf and ripped notes out of notebooks. They even found a hidden journal in a drawer. Whoever did this knew the people here. They knew where they kept their private journal, or it was their journal. But this was a betrayal of some kind, or someone from the inside of this group, someone who was close to them, who knew their secret hiding spots, who had decided to end all of this.
Is this note the same handwriting as the one in the room outside?
It's hard to tell because this one is written more like normally. This isn't written in like the death grip the pencil kind of press the ink through the paper, but it's similar. It definitely could be.
Well, it just kind of like turns, sees Aang in the doorway, shakes her head slightly. There was something unpleasant that happened here. Deeply unpleasant.
Aang will. Her face is a little, hard to read, but not because she has conflicting emotions. It's more that she's not certain what to think beyond pity for the people who are here. And concern for her friends and companions. She looks around and looks back at Willow. Should we be worried?
Willow opens her mouth, closes it, sees Lorelai coming up beside, and will hand Lorelai the 2 papers for Lorelai to read before she looks back to Aang. I think it's very dependent on what caused all of this. It's something that they just learned and didn't make or build or discover. No, we don't have to worry. If, on the other hand, it is something that they did create, and it is still in existence, possibly.
There's a nod and another moment of consideration. Hast thou an inkling?
Not quite, at least not yet.
Then 'tis best if we discover what it is that happened here. At the very least, it would be good to set these souls to rest.
No, not. Well, slowly step out of the room, just kind of looking around. Yes, this place, I think to some degree, is haunted by whatever happened. Sees Pierre, just motions for Pierre to open the door.
Oh, he turns and awkwardly goes to the handle and turns it, and it just click. It rattles like it won't open, and just goes, it is locked. Give me a moment. He takes a knee and pulls out a bobby pin from his pocket. It's bent, but you can guess that it's probably bent intentionally.
This man has a level in Rogue?
He's entirely rogue. He's a full rogue.
Yeah. Paige is
The
not
party has
surprised.
had 2 rogues this whole time?
Yeah.
You never knew.
It's because he's so friend-shaped and baker-shaped.
Does that
Aang
make
is
him
also a
good rogue or
degenerate
bad
rogue.
He's a
Neither
good
of
boy
these 2
rogue.
rogues, neither of these 2 rogues you would look at and go, that's a rogue.
Mm-hmm. Can Paige help?
Sure, go ahead and roll me your. How do you want to help Pierre?
I imagine this is something that they have extensively done growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And this time, they don't need a lookout. So,
True.
so she can actually fully assist and help him. And I feel like it's just muscle memory. She steps into gets some more light in there and hands him another bobby pin to the thing to station the lock.
Yeah, you have the one
Mhm.
to block the hammers and the other one to jiggle the hammers out and
Yep.
get them free. Yeah, okay. If you want to roll for it, you can. I'll just provide him a free +1 from your stuff anyway, because I think that is totally fair. At a minimum, you're going to help.
Okie doke. And I'm assuming this is thievery, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Oh well,
That's still a +1.
cool.
So Pierre with a +1, he rolled pretty good. So after a second, you can see him like concentrating. Willow, like you're not the most like strictly speaking roguish thievish kind of person, but you are a consummate professional in your own field, and you recognize expertise when you see it. This is something that Pierre and possibly Paige are practiced at. But after a brief pause, there's a chink, and the lock opens, and Pierre will carefully push the door in. Oh, this is a strange room. I will let Hylas go before Maddie because Maddie's not technically legally here.
Well, thank you.
What kind of torture chamber is this?
In this room, this is probably the strangest room you have seen yet. There is a table that has 4 metal loops that are about the size of an ankle or a wrist. Some cabling, like metal wire cabling, that attaches to what appears to be some type of focusing device. It looks like a drill bit, but it is a metal structure, and it's pointed downward. Like if I had to give you like a little drawing, it is almost like if you were to lay flat on this bench, perhaps positioned where your ankles are in one end and your hands are sprawled out on the other end, you could position it so that your head is directly underneath the focal point of this metal device. It's like the device is here, and then you would lay like that. Your head's right there. My drawings are useful.
They are, thank you.
Yes. So at each corner, there's kind of like we can assume like a restraint for limbs?
Some type of clamp of some kind. I'm not going to say restraint. That'd be crass.
Sure. Is this like... So it's like a table?
Mm-hmm. This is about slightly taller than waist height. The device on top of it is all in total about the same height as you off of the table, Hylas, because of how the table sits about 4-ish feet high, and then the device on top sits in this apparatus that it is like a wooden metal frame that holds this apparatus above the head.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are cables that attach to it.
I'm guessing that this gives an extreme heebie-jeebies.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. She will politely excuse herself and she's not leaving the room, but she is not looking at that thing.
Pierre just kind of looks at it, and the light from Willow's torch, he points at it and just goes, Well, what is this? What are we looking at?
Is there anything under the table?
Yes, actually. There are more cables that seem to kind of dangle underneath it. They're not plugged into anything. There's no power source of any kind. But you imagine that they could be hooked into something.
This is probably going to be a huge fucking mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Can
Oh no.
Oh,
well, there's
Yeah.
one way to figure out what this thing did.
Mm-hmm.
get our girl some traumies. Let's go.
Paige is about to lose half her fucking HP to psychic damage again.
Well, fucking imagine Paige has been glued to Pierre's side
Mm-hmm.
because this place is fucking creepy. And what if there are fucking bugs and spiders and shit? But when she sees this, she's like, "What? What is this?" She thinks, "I know how I can find out." Gonna take off one of her little gloves.
The second
just-
you take off your glove, Pierre snatches your wrist.
What?
What are you doing?
Nothing.
He looks at you, just stares at you hard. Are you lying to me?
Is he still like holding her wrist?
Yeah.
Yeah. She looks at him. She's gonna swap over to French. Do you really think I shouldn't do this?
Very, very frantically. He's like, yes, I think you should not do this. This is insane. We don't know what that is. And you're going to use magic on it?
Paige just glares at him.
There's Willow, who I imagine is not looking.
Hmm.
Lorelai would depend on if Lorelai's head whips around or not.
Because I don't think they don't know that Lorelai speaks French.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't there
Lorelai's
for
half
their.
paying attention. She's very transfixed on this thing. Like, you can see Lorelai trying to puzzle through what the fuck it is, what it's used for.
Mm-hmm. Paige is going to try and futilely rip her hand away from Pierre. It doesn't fucking. She's too fucking weak. Yes, I am. Because how else are we gonna figure out what it does without wasting time?
He just shakes his head like, no. And he just goes, no, we're not going to figure out what it does. We're just not. We can
Why
live
else are we
without
here?
knowing. I don't know. I'm following you. He points from himself to you.
Well, I want to figure out what's happening here so that it doesn't happen again.
I don't want my sister to hurt herself.
And I don't want my brother to stop me.
He lets go of your hand.
Ooh.
Do you touch it?
Imagine there's a hesitation as like he let go. She kind of like cradles her hand a little bit. I don't imagine he hurt her. It's
No.
more so like the emotional aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
She lets out a sigh. Pierre, I want to do something to help. And
Just do it.
I'm sorry.
He shakes his head.
I need to.
This hurts.
He doesn't say anything for a second and then looks up and then just nods.
I'm sorry. She's gonna step away. Walk up to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna start taking off her little fucking glove again. One
Okay.
dainty little fingy.
So when you touch it, what you find out is laced with anxiety and anticipation. It is, again, like that buildup of like, you don't know what's going to happen, and what if there's something good on the other side, and all of this emotion built up of discovery and potential. And then you get the sensation of lying down flat on your back, and you turn your head to the side, and you feel like the temple on the side of your head is exposed. You don't do anything. You just feel more naked all of a sudden, right there. And as you sit in this position, there is more of that anticipation and a tingle and uncertainty. And there's no pain. There's no scream or sudden shock, but there is a tingle. There is a slight tingle. And you know magic. You know the sensation of when you cast magic. You know the sensation of when you interact with or touch or feel magic around you or near you. But this isn't magic. There is something just as powerful, if not more so. There is a force or an energy present here that is far beyond the understanding of the people playing with it. And that
Of the people what?
Of the people playing with it.
Playing with it.
And that tingle that you feel in this moment that you're touching this machine, that tingle in your head, you can feel it. And going forward, you'll be able to tell more about that tingle.
Okay.
You can't figure out what it is yet, but you can feel it.
Okay. So imagine it's very unceremonious that Paige and Pierre have this argument in the corner before she fucking walks up, touches the very edge of it, and nothing happens. She just puts her glove back on, steps back.
How discreet are you? Oh.
Oh.
Probably Charlie going to bed.
Good night, Charles.
How discreet are you being when you touch the table?
I imagine not very. It's just her touching it. Nothing spectacular.
Okay. I think Hylas, who is also inspecting the table, sees you taking your glove off again. There's no extreme change in expression, but he does raise a single curious eyebrow at you doing this again.
Takes her glove off, touches it with a fingy for like 1 second, 1 Mississippi, maybe 2. Takes her hand off, glove back on. Nothing happened. She steps back to stand next to Pierre.
Pierre looks a little upset, but it wasn't a bigger deal.
Paige looks at him. It's a little smug. Just a little, you know. I told you it'd be fine.
He opens his mouth and there is a protest, but it just dies in his mouth. Like you can see he's desperately like, that's it. But he can't just say that. That would be cruel. Dee Dee steps into the room as Maddie kind of squeezes past everyone and gets between Hylas and Willow. And as Dee Dee steps in, there's a twitch on her face, around her nose. And she tilts her head back and tilts her head up and sniffs. And Lorelai is watching this with complete confusion, like, are you sniffing the air? But she doesn't say that. She's just watching. And then Dee Dee blinks and then looks not at you, Aang, but towards you, like looking past you into the hallway behind you. And she just goes, hey, that little girl y'all are looking for? I think she's real close now. I think she came through here, right through this place.
And Willow kind of looks in her direction, and there's a furrowed brow. I don't suppose you happen to catch a whiff of anybody or anything else coming this way.
Nope, nothing but a lot of death and rancid critters, which, to be honest, I was expecting a corpse. I was not expecting living creatures to crawl out of it. Or living creatures haven't crawled out of one.
Yeah, this world likes to offer up the most unpleasant things, doesn't it? Willow just kind of like gives the contraption in the middle of the room another kind of like sidelong glance and doesn't touch it. She's not been messing with it. And just kind of shakes her head and looks towards Aang. Way down the turn of a stairs.
Yeah, she's like she's standing at the precipice and she's just turned away from the thing. But if you call, she'll turn toward you.
She'll just kind of like lift her voice a little bit. I suppose you have something to say about this room as well?
She takes a very careful step forward and she looks at Willow directly and is very obviously trying not to look at that contraption. It is a foul and brutal device, and to be trapped within its like strikes fear into this creature's heart. I hope that thou shalt forgive me my weakness.
Willow's eyes narrow just a little bit. Have you been trapped in something like this before? Just the idea is bothersome.
GM, I wouldn't say exactly like this, right?
No.
It's evocative of, right? Yeah, okay.
The specific nature of the trapping is similar.
Mm-hmm. There's a hard look on her face, and you can see a distant fear that she's tamping down in her eyes. Not this device, but something of its ilk. There have been those who wanted to study me.
Willow just kind of like glances at the thing, a little frown, and shakes her head. Well, and chasing after this girl should be a good distraction for you.
You worry for the poor dear. She seemed so small.
I have a sneaking suspicion that she probably more capable than we are any of us aware if she made it all the way down here.
Madigan shrugs her shoulders and just goes, okay, well, I'm done being around this fucking weird machine. And she is going to politely scooch by you and Aang.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. She will scooch over here and just like, I'm just gonna scout a little bit ahead.
They're
She
coming,
pokes her head,
they're
so
coming.
he like pokes her head around and looks down the stairs. This is partially Joe moving the tokens so that there's less of a kerfuffle.
As they descend down the stairs, Aang looks to Willow and then quietly, they both speak Latin, right?
Yes.
She will switch to Latin and then just very, very quietly, thank you for your understanding. You are a kind human.
There's a kind of surprised blink, and then tiny smile. You're welcome, though it's not really much of a reason to thank me. You satisfy my curiosity, as much as it may bother you.
Quiet smile. I can be very patient. Descend down steps.
Willow, just before you go downstairs, you round this corner here. You notice as Lorelai catches up behind you and like attaches herself to your rear shoulder. You like unconsciously tilt your head back and look over your shoulder, and as you do, you see something that you've not seen in a long time. Standing here at the head of the machine, not quite slumped, but in that sort of dormant, tilted over position where the pose that you get when you see a lone zombie in the middle of the street. They're kind of head slightly lobbed to one side. You see a version of you, head slightly lobbed to one side, facing away from you, looking very closely at this focusing device attached to this table. And you recognize immediately that this is not summer or winter.
The smile that she had for Aang it's still on her face, but it goes from like being there like normally to just like it's being plastered there instead. There's Blink. And she doesn't say anything because she can't.
Lorelai looks up and just goes, "Is that a problem? You're getting all spacey."
Mysteries upon mysteries, Lorelai, that's all.
Lorelai blinks, looks over her shoulder to see Hylas. Oh, hello.
He starts just a little bit in the shoulders, and just raises his hand in a little friendly manner. He says, "Oh, didn't mean to startle you."
The image Willow like disappears with the movement of Hylas's hand, and it just vanishes.
He looks behind himself to see if Lorelai was looking at something behind him, continuing the chain.
It's Dee Dee.
He nods and continues walking.
Inspect door. People slowly come.
DM, I can't see the door. I can't click on it.
Oh. Fun. I will take all of you. Never mind. Here, wait. Let me just do.
I think you just give me it. There we go.
There you go.
Thank
to give
you.
you a temporary secret light source that nobody needs to know about.
Yep, she pulled out a lighter.
Running after the flickering light, heading downstairs.
Mm-hmm. New thing learned. Need a light source to click on things.
Willow, you're going to hate me. This door is not trapped, but you're going to hate me when you open it. It is not trapped. It's not locked.
Well,
You open it.
wait.
I told you.
North or south?
Flip a coin. Unless we can
North.
listen.
North.
North.
This is real dungeon crawl hours here.
Oh yeah.
It's giving Thistletop.
I don't want
Put
to
the
roll
fucking
50
narrow
million
halls.
things.
Again, this door is safe. You open it up.
Ooh.
Eh.
Mm-hmm. Inside this room, there are markings and etchings all over the walls. Tally marks on the floor, on the wall, on the ceiling. The ceiling, which is about 8 feet high, by the way. I'm going to move you here, Paige, so that you can get closer to the light.
Thank you.
This door, I will give you this for free. This door is also not trapped. It is a barred steel door that is a wooden, like metal reinforced steel door.
So it's locked.
It isn't locked, actually. It looks like it would be some type of cell, or maybe like a gate of some kind, or lock room.
So is it be something she'd be able to see through, or is it solid?
It's solid, but you could. I will say, for this door in particular, you could try to poke your eye through the keyhole and poke and see through it.
It's not locked, or just.
Fair enough. You open it, and inside you are greeted by a wafting smell of decay. It's far less abrasive than the smell from the blight moats. It's bad. It's a bad smell, but this has a distinct tinge to it of fungus. And getting up and close to it, you can see that in and amongst the fungus, there is a skeleton of some kind buried underneath a mound of fungus.
Although, kind of staring at it, tilts her head a little bit, and since Aang behind her, so she doesn't have to worry quite as much, she's very, very quietly under her breath. Have a crack at this, Summer?
Summer doesn't respond.
Glance
You do
around.
get-
Does she see Summer?
You don't see anybody, but you do get the distinct impression of something listening. But it's not Summer.
Perhaps I may assist thee.
Looks over her shoulder at Aang and will step to the side. She's very clearly not getting within arm's reach of the fungus, though.
Mm-hmm.
Aang is going to try to talk to the fungus.
Okay.
Can I Lorax at this?
You can use your Lorax. I think it's Lore Bay for you to roll to talk to fungal.
We've done that, and we've done diplomacy.
I will let you choose. Well, in this case, actually, I think it would be Lore Fey, because the fungus is weird fungus.
It's weird fungus. Okay.
Weird.
All right.
Weird fungus.
Mm-hmm.
That's high roll. That is an 8. Well, 12.
For
It's
12?
above average, I guess.
What do you ask of the weird fungus?
And it's like growing out of somebody, right?
It is growing out of a skeleton, or in and around a skeleton.
Party, how do we feel about my first inclination is what happened here?
Did you just fuck with my sheet, Joe?
Maybe a little.
Okay. I needed to make sure that it wasn't going insane because I saw something move on my sheet, but I didn't catch it, and I was very concerned.
Don't worry, I added something. I did not change anything.
Okay. I just needed to make sure the motion was actually there.
Do you only get a specific amount of questions?
I don't know
There's no specific amount. I play this kind of loose. It's more like what can you glean from it? It's very limited because it's not an intelligent creature. So it'll only be able to give you like a fungus's understanding of things, but it will do its best. It will be a helpful fungus.
I think what happened here is a good starting question.
Yeah.
Let's go with what happened here.
The response is short but simple. The fungus doesn't move. It doesn't undulate. There's no wind. It doesn't wave. It doesn't speak to you in its mind temporally, but you get a distinct impression, like nature, like a temperature change. You just feel the answer. And the answer that you feel from it is food.
So I guess something died. Aang will turn to Willow. It says there was food here.
Willow, if you want to roll me on your lore checks, you should have a appropriate lore.
Oh, yep. Okay.
I will give you a bonus from Aang's fungal talk.
How much?
It'll be a +1. Perfect. So, it was DC 12. So you can ask the person you are connected to, what do you want to ask it?
So Willow was kind of watching Aang, kind of also thinking about, well, fucking summer and winter aren't here, so that's not great. And we'll just kind of tilt her head. And, again, a way, kind of talking out loud, musing out loud, but also very clearly inwardly asking the question as well. I don't suppose it can tell you what exactly it is. Does it seem like a normal fungus?
So you want to know what fungus is? When you tilt your head, you blink just for a moment. When you blink and you open your eyes again, have you ever seen A Haunting at Hill House? The Haunting of Hill House?
Yeah.
Okay. You know in the episode where the I can't remember the name of the character, but the young girl sees the hanging woman like hovering above her bed.
That neck lady?
Mm-hmm. And it's floating horizontally, like way too close. When you turn your head and blink, you see floating horizontally with the head at that tilted oblique angle above the fungus, a version of you, Willow. Just in a horrifying, glitched, shouldn't be like this kind of way, suspended in the air above the fungus, not touching it, just looking at it. It tilts its head the other way in a jerky motion. And you can see the fungus, this time it responds to the head movement of the inner odd. The fungus moves. And you can see it. The fungus shifts to follow her movement of the head. You don't see the floating person, but you see the fungus shift from left to right. They're connected. Distantly.
I imagine that Aang is probably more focused on the fungus. Not because she dislikes or is not concerned about Willow, but because, well, she's a fae. And there's a plant. They're buds. So I think she sees the moving first and tilts her head at that and watches it for a second and considers the question that Willow had just asked, which was, I don't suppose you can ask it what type of fungus it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think she'll ask it something before she thinks to look back at Willow. And I think she will ask it, what have you found?
You ask it, what have you found? And there is like a stirring. You don't feel any wind, but you get the sensation of like a tingle on your skin, like wind just blew. The air, the stagnant air, smells a little more electrified. It it doesn't respond in a way that it doesn't have a word for what it found. There is not an exact word. The closest you get is the sensation of like a half-baked guess, like a hypothesis.
Mm-hmm.
To answer your question more explicitly with a single word, it would be like, what did you find? And the fungus would respond with family? Question mark.
I think Aang hears family and she tilts her head, kind of processing it, and it's then she looks at Willow. And is Willow like visibly fucked up?
Willow looks a little more serious than she normally does. Cause like normally there's that like kind of casual curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Even in kind of serious moments, if she is getting questions answered, amusement. But she's pretty straight-faced and seemingly confused.
Aang looks from the fungus to Willow, and as Lorelai approaches to Willow, to her as well, thinks for a moment. Wait, Willow said Lorelai's cool. It's fine. Looks back to Willow. I saw it move and asked of it what it had encountered, what it had found. It spake family. A strange thing. Will there be there something on thy mind?
Is Odd still fucking hovering in the air?
Yes, suspended there, just looking at it. Looking at Odd it's kind of like staring at heat waves. You focus and then Odd becomes blurry. And then you squint your eyes and they start to focus a little bit, but then once you focus in on them, they become blurry again. It's like they dance right on the edge of being able to be seen.
Willow just seems to be actually considering her words before she finally responds. The deeper we go here, the more certain I am that something very strange either was here or still is here. Kind of looks towards Aang and then past Aang and sees like Lorelei peeking through the door. Back at Aang again. I don't think it is just about the science upstairs.
Aang will nod. I think I have a similar feeling. As she sees Lorelei approach, she will nod to her and gesture for her to come into the room. As she does this, she will nod to the fungus as well and thank it for its time.
The fungus, in a bizarre moment, as you thank the fungus for its time, you step out of the room, Aang, and you don't see this, but you do feel it as it sort of bids you farewell. You see this, Willow, as Lorelei steps in, just before she actually is in the room. The fungus shifts again, as if to signal to Aang that they recognize Aang is leaving. And in response to the shifting of the fungus, Odd turns their head the other way. And Lorelei steps in. You all right? You're getting twitchy.
Willow just kind of frowns a little bit. Remember the chaos of that time we got all the way out in the woods with children.
Yes. And she recalls it with a bit of shame and a bit of pride. It's a mix.
Strange.
For a bit, yes, but it went back to normal, didn't it?
Later, this place is not too far off. That one.
She looks at you, and she looks at the fungus. And she looks at you again, Willow. Do you see something? And Willow, you look, you're still staring at the patch of fungus and subsequently at Odd. Would Willow blink at all during this time, or is Willow like eyes locked open?
I think she'd blink.
Mm-hmm. When you blink, Odd is gone. But in her place, there is something underneath the fungus. Something clutched by the skeleton that wasn't there before. You're positive there wasn't something there before. You are almost certain, willing to bet money on it, that the skeleton was just in the embedded fungus on its own but now it is seemingly holding some kind of thing, some boxed thing that is being overgrown with fungus on top of it.
Willow just kind of like perks up just a little bit suddenly, and there's a kind of a hand wave at Lorelei of like, minute. Anchor, can I see your size for a minute?
Aang will turn and approach, and Aang is very protective of her scythe, but she's gotten less protective over time, and she does trust Willow, so she hands it over with only a moment of hesitation and that pleading, please be careful with it look, although she doesn't say anything. And it's a little funny that she has that look because this thing is beaten to shit.
Willow will very carefully use the tip of the scythe to kind of cut the box out.
You shear the edge of the box around the fungus, and Aang, you were also pretty sure that there was nothing in the fungus when you left. It was just the skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a thing there now, clutched in its hands.
Aang looks at it and tilts her head, and she asks the fungus if they may take it.
Willow, as you shed the fungus from the box, I will post a picture of what this box looks like. The fungus to you, Aang, it just simply capitulates in response. It cares not for the box. But the fungus recognizes the box has been there this whole time. It simply does not care. The box looks like this.
Oh no.
Oh, what the fuck?
Joseph?
I don't like the
Oh.
name that populated when I clicked on that.
What the fuck? What? Can we leave? Can we leave right now? Can we run out of this fucking dungeon?
Wait a second, Joe. You said that somebody was speaking fucking Ukrainian, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And
You
the
fucker.
atomic age cannot come.
Oh my god!
Interesting. Very interesting.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, nobody in this party, including Willow, knows what the fuck that is because they're too
Nope.
early.
Aang will just look at the box, and she's very beguiled by it. Doesn't know what the fuck that is. She turns to Willow. The fungus says that this has long lingered here.
I both knew that's not quite true.
Yes. And yet, thus it spake.
Fucking cuts it out of the fungus, knocks the like whatever's on top off of it, and will hook it with the scythe and bring it out before she actually touches it. And then hands the scythe back.
Aang accepts scythe.
You hold this box up. It is easy enough. It even seems to be designed to be held in one hand with a little diode in the other. A strange machine that you've never seen before. And it's advanced too. The construction, the actual design, the dials, the monitors, the glass readout. This is far more advanced than you would have expected to find buried underground under some fungus.
Does it have electricity still? She like futzes with it just enough to come to life.
You have a scientist's intuition, and with a quick rearranging and flipping of a switch and clicking of a button, it hums to life. It ticks once and then twice. It doesn't seem to make noise, but it's on.
She'll kind of poke her head around the side and hold it up so that Lorelai can also see through the doorway. I suppose you've seen anything like this in your travels.
Never in my days. What is that?
Not sure. It seems to be. And I waited something to gauge something.
Some kind
Not
of
on
monitor?
Not unlike some of the gauges you'd see on the steam engine, I suppose. But
She looks up at you. What were they measuring? The box.
that would be the mystery. You want to play with it for a bit?
She holds her hands out and does grabby hands.
Passes it along.
She takes it and immediately starts examining it.
And well, we'll just kind of like pat Aang on the shoulder, looks back at the fungus. There's nothing else in the fungus, right? Aside from a skeleton now.
Nothing.
I think we need to be very, very careful that we look at everything from this point forward. Several times over.
Don't have to tell me twice, she says as she takes the box and like clutches it to her chest and examines it even closer.
Willow will kind of step out of the room, watch Lorelai for a moment, and then we'll lean forward when she can get close enough to Paige to kind of whisper in Paige's ear. And will very pointedly whisper in French. There's some sort of magic going. I don't quite understand. My eyes open if I were you.
Responding in kind. Keep an eye out. What? DM, if you will permit me this.
Yep.
While they are all investigating the room, it's a small room. There's fungus there. Paige doesn't really vibe with fungus. Could Paige be chilling in this room with the tally marks here?
Yeah.
Chatting it up. And this is so stupid. But she's getting a little bored. Can Paige do a little bit of a party trick?
Sure.
Can she cast Approximate? How many tally marks are there?
1,277.
Cool. Very niche spell.
God.
I was wondering if you took that. I was staring at that spell.
Yeah. You said how many?
1,277.
77 tally marks.
Will this come up? I don't know, but god damn it, if Approximate isn't clutch right now.
Yeah.
Like when else would she ever fucking use a spell like this?
Perfect.
But that's it. She would be taking bets. She knows she's right. Cheating.
Yes, we're going this way.
That's it.
Where are you off to next?
I'm just trailing behind. Walking.
There's only one more door that we can see.
Oh, there's only one more door for now you can see.
There's so many
well,
doors
that
in
has
this
changed immediately, Joe. Look at that.
Willow, as you step in here, you
Oh,
get...
fuck.
Hold on.
I start scrolling and I just keep scrolling to the side and scrolling to the side and scrolling to the side.
There, y'all.
Oh my
y'all
god, there's so
know.
many fucking doors.
Mm-hmm.
Georgian.
Let me move these fucking this whole cast and crew of goddamn NPCs in here.
I
Guys have a
mean,
fucking
if you
There are
want to give
3.
me control
brain.
of Lorelei, I can control Lorelei.
Yeah, same with
No,
Pierre.
no, it's okay. I don't know how I would do that actually, but I will
Investigate.
figure that out for later. Anyway, yes, as you walk in here, Dee Dee, you can hear like a loud. And she holds up a finger and just goes, "Wait, hold on, I'm getting a whiff. I damn sure that girl has run through here too. And you know what? She, in a unusual show for Dee Dee, she pushes past some people to get up to the front here, and she hooks like right on the edge of this wall and peers down it, and she points down to the open door all the way at the end of the hall, and she goes, "She went down there. I am dead certain."
Given how this is laid out, I feel like that secret staircase we found might have been a fun little shortcut to that destination.
It's possible.
That is just my rat brain connecting locations.
Your
Hindsight.
bloodborne shortcut brain.
Yes!
Look at Stell being able to like hold multiple locations in their head and visualize things. What's
Have I
that
told
like?
you about my rat brain?
No?
No.
I love locations and I love the way that they connect. I love it when there is places to go.
That's great. This is
Zell,
so
I've got good news and bad news. The good news is that that's going to be very useful. The bad news is its use will quickly turn into a weapon against you, depending on how far you go in this direction.
Understood.
Aang charging ahead.
She heard the girl went through here. She's worried.
Mm-hmm. Now, Aang, roll me a perception check.
Certainly. Not great.
The 10.
My passive is 15, but I don't know if you want to take
15? Well, with the 15, you can for certain see that there are doors across the way opened here. And what's more is you can see on the way through here, you can see there are scratches, like scores in the concrete floor that go in this direction. Like something with clawed feet is walking around down here.
that. I think as... Oh, gone.
Oh, go ahead.
After you.
I was just gonna ask really fast, Joe, so that I
Mhm.
can keep up with this stuff. Am I being given the very clear signal that I should swap spell lists?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Said you have to
I'm
actually
sorry.
adjust that.
Yes, I'm sorry to overload your brain more, but yes. You have tread far enough down that it's getting close to odd brain.
Gotcha. Okay. Continue.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I imagine that as Aang moved ahead, she firstly would have thanked Dee Dee for the information. But when she sees the scratches, she will call back and relay to the others this information. And she will ask if she should keep going forward.
Dee Dee looks up at Willow and will look over to Aang And then she's going to carefully push past you, Willow, and tiptoe over to you, Aang. She's not quite as fast as you, but she's just as quiet. And she tiptoes up to you and she just goes, Ken, I don't know about you, but there's something foul about this place that I do not like. I do not care for it one bit.
It makes the skin crawl and the souls brittle.
She nods. She's like, I know a thing or two about making skin crawl, and this place gives me the willies.
I imagine Willow just kind of is frowning as she's looking ahead and sees Dee Dee like brush past. She'll step aside. She's tries to maintain a rather, if not friendly, respectful position with Dee Dee. Don't make her like skulk around or squeeze by. She steps aside for a second and kind of looks, sees a door over here towards the south. Fuck. I'll have Willow. Let's say Willow would do. It is up to anybody else if they want to argue with her. Willow just kind of shakes her head slightly. I think we need to be very methodical with this place. Don't go rushing ahead like a bull in a china shop. Something tells me that we need to make sure that we figure out as much as possible. Whatever we meet at the end of this is going to be that much harder if we don't begin to understand.
Aang will nod, and she won't move ahead. She will start to move back. And as she does, she will speak to Dee Dee. Now, I have Sylvan. Jeez, what is that?
What?
Sorry.
Um.
I have no idea how I did that. Whoa!
You just did it again!
The sigil.
Oh, shit.
I've learned a new trick.
It is spooky.
Jesus Christ.
Wretched glyph.
Because you realize we have to fucking like scroll back out and adjust ourselves each time we do this.
All
Wait,
right.
it zooms you too?
Yes.
It zooms
Yeah.
us right over there.
Zooms
Yeah.
us right over there.
It centers
Awesome.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know. Good to know.
I have Sylvan on my sheet here. Can it be presumed that there is some face speak?
Yeah, for sure. You would be able to speak Sylvan, like Fae speak, with Dee Dee if you wanted.
Pig Latin?
Yes. Aang will switch over to Fae speak, and I cannot say I do not understand the drive for curiosity, but I worry what it will make of them.
Dee Dee, like, is looking out that open door, just kind of anxious. You're not sure for what, and she just keeps her eyes on it and just goes, well, if there's one thing I know, humans is always looking for shit in all the wrong places. How do you think they find me?
It's a small, weird laugh from Aang. Yes. That's also how they find me.
Back to Willow. Pierre will, like, I was going to say he holds up a hand. He will just say, like, I think we should stick together as best as possible. I suppose we could keep up in a nice little group, unless the area is big and open. Stay within eyesight of each other, best we can.
I guess idea for us to go surprising?
Lorelai, who is not really paying attention to the conversation, is like, I'm not sure this thing is working. Tonk, tonk, tonk. Click, 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 click.
You break that, I swear.
I'm not going to break it. She holds it away from you.
Certainly
I'm
our
going to
fault for
learn.
hitting it.
She sticks her tongue out.
Willow just like hands on her hips. Just like watching the box, not looking at the others. Yes, I do think that staying as close together as possible is probably wise. Being very aware of who's next to you in case anything odd happens in the halls.
It's a secret joke for our viewers at home.
Just
Sorry.
look over to Maddie and point towards the door.
Maddie points at this one and she goes, you got it. And she gets positioned to sling the hammer down, like knock the handle off.
Just tried to open it first.
Pierre also holds out a hand and just goes, could you please just use your hands, please? Maddie just goes, fine. Since you all voted, she puts her hammer away and will grab the handle and look at all of you and then twist it and open it and just kind of go like, ta-da. The door opens in that squeaky, creepy, echoey kind of way. And it echoes down a hallway. There's even more doors.
Fuck.
Yo.
Why do they love doors so much?
Maddie just shrugs. I just start rapid fire going through doors. I don't think this is a good idea. You will chase after Maddie.
Wait, so what's your...
Sees them go fucking running off. Then
Yeah.
Willow snatches Lorelai by the elbow and looks towards Aang and Dee. And there's just like 2 fingers to her eyes, pointing at the 2 of them, back to her eyes. And they'll slowly follow, still holding on to Lorelai so she doesn't wander off.
She is futzing with the box so much. She hasn't broken anything, but she is like partially convinced it doesn't turn on. It's not been making any noise. It clicked once and then turned off.
No noise is
Or
good
rather,
noise.
clicked off and went silent. Right?
Above table, that's good knowledge.
Yes, we don't know as in character, but out of character, it's reassuring.
Yeah, it makes me happy.
Irony. Dramatic irony is a bitch in it.
Right?
No, this is a very good use of it, Joe. This is cool.
Mm-hmm. This is very fun.
Lorelai will make room. Dee Dee is going to swoosh on over behind you, Willow. She's going to tap you on the shoulder. And she'll put one hand, she like puts one hand next to her mouth and just goes, hey, I'm going to start needing to talk about this contract we got going. I want to find this girl right quick so that I'm all done on my end and y'all can stop holding me to unreasonable standards of comeliness.
And there's a little kind of... There's a blink first, and then there's a little smile. Yeah, I thought that this would be, walk in the park for you. Besides, you still haven't gotten all the things you've asked for within your contract.
She actually raises an eyebrow. She counts on her fingers. Who am I missing?
She's not actually talked to Willow yet.
Oh,
Or Pierre. Or somebody
true.
else. think there was another person somewhere.
She technically talked to Maddie. She technically talked to Paige, but she has not talked to Pierre or you. But she will. She raises an eyebrow. She just goes, "Touche. I guess I'm stuck in this contract until I get everything that I earned, huh?"
Willow just kind of tilts her head one way and the other. Wouldn't want you to be cheated out of anything.
She grins, and the grin doesn't quite touch the corners of her eyes. Like she's definitely like, "Oh, okay. You're," and she like touches her nose and points to you. She just goes, "You're a clever one. Too clever for your own good." She goes to pinch you on the side.
She doesn't like move away. There's just like a little huff. Yes, and that's part of the reason why, as much as you may hate all of us, you are still amused by me.
She nods her head back and forth. Guilty. Am I allowed to make an addendum to that contract? She puts her hand over her mouth and covers it, blocking her like mouth to Hylas. She goes, "I want to talk to the tall, dark, and mysterious man over there."
Willow just kind of looks his direction, and then there's a little shrug. And I suppose with how everything is worded, if he's technically joined in this party during the course of the contract, he would fall under the contract.
She does that thing where she like sticks her tongue out and bites it a little bit. From down the hall, you hear Maddie just go, "Can I open these doors?"
Yeah, look at them first.
You hear some shoving as Pierre pushes Maddie. Maddie is not being shoved. She is letting Pierre push her, but it is still emotionally a shove.
We'll just kind of look over at Dee Dee again. You are very interested in him.
She doesn't. She does a gesture of like kind of wobbling, like rocking back and forth on her heels, and she just goes, "Well, I got a thing for weirdo guys."
Yo.
She winks. There's something about him that just don't quite fit. I want to know what it is.
Telling me that everybody in this party doesn't have the same effect. She's kind of steps
Well, she
forward.
gestures. She gestures and just goes, "Well, none of y'all are guys."
Yeah, I thought the fact that you were swapping bodies and swapping genders would, negate that a little bit.
I play the field.
This is a question for both Zell and for Joe.
Mm-hmm.
How delicious does Hylas look?
On a scale of 1 to yum, where do you put Hylas, Zell?
I'm rubbing my hands together like a fly. Hang on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a yeah on the yum scale. But it's like a YA period. Like yeah.
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 Perfect.
Okay. Aang doesn't say anything to Willow, but she does lead over to Dee Dee and just, I do understand.
Dee Dee like puts one hand over hers and just goes, "I knew you would, Kin."
Does Willow hear that all the same, even if she's not being spoken to?
Aang?
Yeah, sure, if you would like to.
Imagine like Willow is looking over like one shoulder talking to Dee Dee, hears that from Aang, turns and looks over the other shoulder at Aang because of where they are positioned. Kind of looks Aang up and down for a second, and then looks at Hylas and looks at Aang.
Has Hylas been able to hear any of this, by the way?
I imagine Dee Dee has been talking in a semi-hushed tone so that only those immediately around her are hearing it. But I imagined like the contract stuff, because it got slightly louder, you could have heard, but up until she covered her mouth and spoke slightly more hushed when she was talking explicitly about Hylas. You would have heard them talking, but not necessarily heard details, unless you want to like roll for it.
If you want to roll for it, that's perfectly fine. I think it would be very funny.
I'm gonna roll for it because of a lack of things that he is doing other than just watching where the party goes and following. So is that a perception?
Are those
It is
women
going to
talking
be
about...
your perception versus Dee Dee's deception.
Oh,
Dee
okay.
Dee's deception is quite high, so you're going to need is going to be a 19 or higher.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, might as well.
Why not?
Literally, why not?
Yo!
Oh!
Perfect.
I imagine
Love that.
Willow has like whipped around back and forth, and like as Hylas would be turning to speak, she's looking at Aang like, "Weren't you created very specifically for a woman?"
Aang just stares as if she doesn't understand how two and two link together here. And then she just tilts her head. I was not speaking of as let me think how she would phrase this. Let me think. Also, there's a fucking siren as usual. So
Distant siren.
That's what's going on in the back of her head right now.
yeah, because this is strictly a matter of eating.
She means literally tasty.
Yep.
Oh, I know.
Yep.
Willow, because of the context of what Dee Dee said first.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's totally reasonable. I'm just trying to think. All right. I think Aang would say, "Thou knowest well, my heart is already firmly committed. I am speaking with my stomach."
Whips around to look at Dee Dee. It's just like, there's the very clear question of like, and you?
Dee Dee blinks and then looks at Aang and then looks back to you, Willow. And she looks at Aang and then looks back to you with this look of just like, you know what I mean.
See, because I thought of using the word carnally, and I was like, no, that's still ambiguous here.
Looks forward, meets Hylas in the eye, gives him one single nod.
What? I think Hylas hasn't been like turned around to face any of you. He's just kind of listening. I think he is content to listen.
Just don't let them know
He
he heard
just
them.
did hear it.
Yep. He's just going, okay, yeah, they're talking about eating me.
One of these
lines
faces.
Huh?
Yep.
One of those like little like.
Paige did warn him.
Like, this lines up with what Paige told him, so he's just
Yeah.
like, oh.
See,
Oh, I didn't realize that we're all casual and upfront about that. Okay.
See, Paige told him about fucking Dee Dee. She didn't tell him about Aang, who was very nice and very religious in his direction.
I think he's starting to wonder. It's not like a full-on thought or belief that he holds, but his mind is starting to get to the place of like, oh, do they all eat people here?
Are they cannibals?
One
Like, is
person
that
that
the crowd I fell in with?
if you're not fully aware of this cell, I need to give you the full context here. You have the deity who is both carnal and fucking meal.
Mhm.
Aang, who is just thinking meal, and
Yeah.
Willow, who is very ace.
Mhm.
An ace non-cannibal.
It's not
Neither.
Not cannibal.
It's just like all of this is gross. Why him? The hell?
The fuck's wrong with y'all?
As
Would
far as
say
this
y'all need people,
conversation
but
goes, Willow sounds at least complacent.
She doesn't have any horses in the race as far as well, you're not supposed to be eating people, but I mean, if Hylas fucks up and you want to eat him, I suppose, and not my business who you sleep with, but him.
He sort of like scratches the back of his head, ruffling his hair. It kind of like when you do an idle action, to come across as like, I don't know, I guess it's kind of a fidget. Just like in his head, he's like, okay, I've just heard all this, and now I'm gonna pretend not to have done that.
And Willow kind of looks back over her shoulder at Dee Dee, shakes her head slightly. I will admit this is one of the first times that you have genuinely baffled me.
She gives you like a guilty shrug. Like, what can I say? I got eclectic tastes.
Brings about very many other questions that I would like to ask, but perhaps not the right time nor place.
She like just casually like gives you a wave of the hand, just goes, if you want to do girl talk, you just gotta catch me by the campfire.
Well, just inclines her head and will turn back towards the hallway. Has Pierre
I
found a
think
trap?
Meanwhile, Pierre has searched both doors, found neither door is trapped. And he gestures to Maddie to open either one. Maddie will open this one slightly further down. Oh, she steps in. It's just a really small couch room. And she'll step out. And she looks at Pierre. And Pierre will open this door. And he'll step in. Oh, this one is also a small couch room, I guess. Is this the normal room where you come from? No, it's not. He takes a step down here and he just goes, I see. He steps out. I'm going to scoot them down so that y'all have room to scoot on in.
wait, rooms dedicated to couches?
yeah.
If you poke your head in and look, it would be more clear that this is like a private reading or study room.
Oh, okay.
Think of this as like the equivalent of a like dorm study room.
Okay.
All
I was
right.
just so put off by it's a small room with just a couch.
Yeah, Maddie doesn't know how to describe it. She doesn't know what a study room is.
Okay.
Couch room. I don't know.
Couch room. Okay.
But
Cool.
Willow, because she is far enough back that she cannot be of particular use up front, she'll each room in turn will go in and pick up the cushions.
You go in, flip up the cushions. There's nothing under the cushions. And I will give you this for free. If you wanted to tear apart this room and scour every last square nook and cranny, you would find nothing. These are just study rooms. It would seem that whatever was in here, whomever was studying in here, did not leave anything behind.
She wouldn't go that far. She's just like, well, I'm waiting for the Pierre to check the other door and Maddie to eventually open it. We'll flip these cushions really fast and make sure there's nothing here.
Man, I don't know what the deal is, but Pierre is rolling like absolute fucking fire. This kid has not rolled below 15.
Ooh,
Let's go,
It's
Pierre.
because we found his calling. Rogue.
See,
It's like he
no.
remembered he was a rogue this session.
This is because Joe fucking killed his other rogue that was the Trap Man. So the destiny of the Trap Man lives on, just not in an actual player character.
Just in Pierre.
It's just in Pierre.
I will tell you, though, Willow, since you are looking in these rooms, there is an implication here that there were enough people here cumulatively that they had study rooms. Like places to go where no one else is so that you can have some peace and quiet. Like there are more than 5 people down here for sure.
This would be akin to either a large lab or a university of some sort.
Yeah, like a miniature university of some kind. Coming in here, this is an even more open study room.
With dead plants.
Dead plants, indeed.
What is this in the center? Is it like a dried up fountain?
Yes, in fact, it is a dried up, no longer in use fountain.
Are there any coins?
Seems
Oh.
kind of forgotten. Yes, actually, there are coins.
Pedro,
There are a handful of coins. You can add 10 gold to your sheet.
Let's go. Paige sees coins, looks left, looks right, takes the coins, pockets them.
Does she
Here,
pocket
gives
them
you a
with
thumbs
her
up.
bare hands?
Sure, why not?
Are you going to sense motive the coins? Or sense
Psychometry?
object? There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, you go and grab a handful of coins, and you get flashes of what looks to be like almost like a campus. You get glimpses of multiple scientists like palling around, sitting in here, reading, going through papers. At least 5 scientists who throw coins into this well, wishing for good luck or for insight or for guidance, looking for answers to questions that they don't know yet. And now this place is deserted.
Mm.
It occurs to me, like, where we're at right now is like underground.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But
Stories under.
I don't know, is it possible that the building itself might not have originally been?
It's possible, but it's not something that people have recorded or seen since the weirding, but it's at least not common. But it's not impossible. Weirder things have happened.
Excuse me.
That was more just like Zell thinking, when have I ever seen like an underground fountain?
Damn.
Good point.
These stairs go up.
So, what's your rat brain telling you?
Zooming out. What direction were the stairs?
I feel like this is gonna be like...
This is a little south, I think.
Yeah, this is gonna be in the building, the other building, I think, if we go up there.
If everything connects like it's supposed to, because this is a fucking post weird.
It might
building.
not, yes.
We'll just like go far enough to see the stairs go up and be like, I think we probably need to focus on trying to clear floors at this point.
So what, are we not going up there? So did we go back to that big room?
Focus on this floor
That
for now.
is, I should mention, that is where I smelled the girl, by the way.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't scurry after your I was gonna say target. Your pal.
Who's he directing that towards?
That's just at the party. Like, I'm surprised you didn't scurry after your pal when you got news of her location.
Well, just kind of again waves her hand around. And I do think that trying to figure out what we are walking into and what she might be here for is part of what we need to be doing.
Lorelai walks around the edge of the fountain and just goes, I just want to see this whole place. There's so much weirdness going on here, and I want to know what they were up to. Never heard of an underground laboratory like this. At least not one this big.
I thought she was about to say, I've never heard of an underground fountain. Girl, me
That
too.
too.
Whoops. Ah.
And the balls.
Oh,
The collision!
Collision.
you and I collide. Do, do, do.
Oh man, that song used to get stuck in my head all the time.
My
So that-
brain is starting to melt out my ear.
Oh, I know. It's near the melting hour.
Past the melting hour, Joe.
Just use the last little bit of brain cell you have left to get
More
into the main
fucking doors!
lobby
More
area.
fucking doors.
Why there's so many fucking doors?
Books.
So,
Well, we now know where we lost Willow and Lorelai. Have a good time. Have fun finding Pandora's box.
Yes, this area is going to be of great interest to you, Willow, because you walk into this big atrium. The ceilings are easily 12, 13, 14 feet high. Books stacked up to the curved parts of the roof. Old books, scrolls, tomes, certifiable tomes. This is a verifiable library.
if I
Uh-huh.
could I start looking for like signs of somebody coming through here?
Go ahead. Roll me your Perceptione check.
Okay. Come on, man.
Oh, there's a lot of books.
I'll give you a 14. With a 14, you can see the score marks in the floor. And they're not so old that you would ignore them. You can see scores of something with clawed feet walking in this direction. Like it went down this hallway.
I see doors open down here.
There are doors open down there. Now, everyone, go ahead and make me a perception check. Aang, you actually get this for free. As you are rounding this corner here, your passive perception is easily high enough to get this. You hear what sounds like chewing and schlorking and gobbling of food. You know the sound of ravenous eating.
She's very familiar with that sound. She does not like it in this context.
Oh, that's
I don't like that.
Oh, I can see something.
Is that
With a
everybody
20.
getting follow-up perception?
Yes. So Willow, with a 20, you can see there's something down here hunched over in the darkness. You can't make out what it is, but there's something moving down there.
Southward?
Page
Oh.
southward down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. I don't like that. I don't like.
I don't like
this.
that. Don't like that either.
Maddie looks down and immediately holds out a hand and then brings a finger to her mouth and just goes, gives you the shush. I think this is a good place to stop. Aang, you were saying.
Oh, no, go on. Yeah, no, this is a good place to stop. My only question was if the chewing she heard had come from like this direction or like this direction.
Would you be upset if I said both?
I would not be upset. I would understand.
Mm-hmm. It is coming from both directions.
Yeah, it's a good spot. We got a lot done today.
Yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking maze, man.
So many fucking doors.
I'm never going to feel bad about the mazes I put in dungeons now.
I never want to hear anyone say shit about the long, narrow hallways in the Rune Lord's dungeons again.
Dude, funny enough, I ripped this from a Pathfinder AP.
I'm sure you did.
So it's piezo coded, as you can tell.
Single file. Is that just that
bullshit,
what
man.
piezo is?
They like type
I will give you one last thing as Lorelai is standing in the books and waves the Geiger counter around. Oh, sorry, the box. You do get.
Oh yeah, what a silly mistake.
Oh no. Oh no.
It ticks.
I see.
Don't
I
love
see
that.
what it is. These are the fucking Chernobyl rakes that are coming through. Is what these are. We're just gonna drop in those cryptids.
This is secretly a Fallout AU.
Oh my god.